right. Hi, guys. We are back. My name is Val, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful summer. Ron and I have graduated. We are now ready for letter number 4. If you've been following along, hopefully you have caught up to letter number 4, and we're going to dive in. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing great, Val. It's been a very busy and beautiful summer so far.
Let's let's get started with letter number 4. I'm excited.
Yeah, Val and I have been talking. We thought we'd change up the format a little bit and try to maybe relate the theme in the letter to something that's more of a current event, I guess, of the day. And letter 4 actually starts out that way, talking about when Christ came and what he tried to warn the people, educate them about, and kind of like the downfall from the temple falling and things like that. So it's very relatable to the current world events. It seems like more and more other people are, you know, I guess we look back at the end of the Soviet Union era till around 2000. There were skirmishes here and there, but it seemed like there was a little bit broader world peace. And then, things started up with 9/11, and then we had Afghanistan and Iraq, which, uh, things are kind of flipped around there. And of course, now it's Afghanistan. I think there's still some issues going on in Africa. And then you've got uh, the Chinese and us are fighting, on the Pacific, and they're not really, exchanging bomb, but you see everywhere, it seems like friction is going up and it's just boiling over all over, it seems like to me. Cool thing about the letters is he really hits on everything. I mean, there's no rock unturned. And, he kind of starts off saying that while his persona on earth 2,000 years ago was that of Jesus, his essence, though, was of Christ, the presence, the message is being delivered in these letters here. And he's trying to reach the sensitive, inspired people to teach them how to draw on divine assistance during future horrors in which the world is going to be embroiled. And I think we're rapidly approaching that point that he was talking about 20-ish years ago when this all came out.
This by you too, Ron. My sign is a Cancer, guys, right? So trigger words for me is I feel. I normally lead from emotion. So a lady, I was speaking to a elder, and she was saying, well, you're a Cancer. You were put on earth to bring the world together. So I guess my question to you, Ron, I think you're a Taurus. Do you know like the purpose or the guided purpose of a Taurus?
Most of the typical traits of a Taurus in my personality and the way I act, although I'm not extreme in that. I'm not real rigid in my ideas. I definitely can bend. And I also have a softer side. I'm not so stuck in the mud, I think, in my opinion anyway. But, I didn't really know what my life purpose was until I received a channeling from Tiffany that talked about you need to study the Christ consciousness. So I don't know if there's a true dovetail there, but that's what I'm running with right now, and it feels good.
So guys, we want to extend the question to you guys. Where are you at with your life purpose? Have you saw some signs? Have someone said, oh my gosh, you are a really good healer, or you're a really good listener, or you bring such joy to my life, and you can kind of roll that into what you should be doing or what comes natural for you. So drop a comment down below and let me know if you know your life purpose.
uh, as he moves along in here, he said, and I'm reading between the lines a little bit here, but I think it's trying to be very pointed. He says, I would have you know and take particular note, kind of a clue there, right? I came to the Jews in Palestine 70 years before Jerusalem was razed to the ground. Okay. He came to the Jews to warn them that their code of conduct would be of no value to them when the future time of travail came upon them, sending them out into a hostile world. And it's recorded in the gospel that he wept in despair, lamenting that he would have gathered a people as chicks beneath a mother's breast to protect them, but the people would not heed him. Instead, their religious leaders put him to death. So after the Jews were dispersed, when their temple was taken from them, did they learn, he's saying? And no, they didn't. And, they continue to today. And it says, no matter where they reside. And he broadens it up here too. Materialistic values, eye for an eye traditions are drawing all these people into this human sorrow that is created for others down the ages by the arrogance and greed. Um, everything that people have endured in these trials, and they brought upon themselves. And again, it gets back to the energy and the magnetism of you make your world based on what your conscious thoughts are, whether it be, uh, you know, family, spouse, coworkers, even down to the things that are in our world, like we talked about last time. Do you take care of your car? You just drive it in the ground and don't give a damn about the thing. If you have positive energy about everything, if you care about the things in your world, you're going to get along better. And when travail does come upon us, those of us who can do that will be better prepared to go through the suffering. He truly says in here, you need to turn the other cheek, and then go, whatever you have to do. But to perpetuate revenge and getting back at somebody is not the way. I think back when I was younger, growing up, and uh, they used to put sports figures and really people that seem to exhibit, high moral values, like on the Wheaties box and things like that. They were role models. Uh, where are all those people today? You know, um, Once upon a time, there was a lot of sports things and maybe some, maybe to a lesser extent, actors and actresses, things like that. But,
Right.
um, where are our role models today? Politics is filled with vile and retribution and uh, making fun of people. I mean, we've gone the wrong way.
I agree. I was with some younger people, and they and I don't know if this is the world we're living in, Ron. They recognize influencers or YouTube famous stars quicker than, they'll recognize a Meryl Streep or, and I'm not saying back in my day, but I'm just saying, what we used to call as big screen actresses or popular politicians or even a news person that you see on the nightly news all the time.
Mhm.
They had no clue who they were. But, I can name a YouTuber or TikToker or an Instagrammer, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's blah, blah, blah. That's blah. And I'm like, wow, have
Yeah.
they replaced the role models? Wow.
Unfortunately, they have.
Wow.
Every now and then I get the opportunity to chat with somebody on Instagram or something like that, and uh, point out to, and here's what I kind of felt was a fairly more recent reference. I was talking about somebody who came around like Sandra Bullock, and she's had some tussles in her life, but she's always expressed either comical or positive role models on TV, and the person's like, "Who?"
I'm laughing
Yeah.
in agreement, but it is very scary. And don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I remember wanting a role model, right? Like I knew certain places I wanted to go that was outside of my neighborhood and outside of my parents, but I didn't know how to get there. So I was always seeking a role model, right? And then, my parents, go to church. The priest would be your be your guidance. But you
Yeah.
kind of want to meet someone that's doing what you want to do. And and this is me talking to you, world, there's nothing wrong with being an influencer, um but just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, right, Ron? Like if there's a guy that does pranks for a living, and I'm not saying he hasn't made $1 million on YouTube, but if the pranks are hurting someone, I'm not sure that's the thing you should be doing.
Okay.
And that's just something to think about, guys. The richest guy that may have stolen from someone, that I'm not sure that's a role model. Yes, he's rich and you may be like, he has all the money and I want all the money, but how he got it, I'm pretty sure is how he'll lose it. So just be careful of what you're looking up to. We all know right from wrong, but it's just Ron, our role models have changed completely.
Very much so. And unfortunately, a lot of the positive ones are not, I don't think, being looked up to is, they once were encouraged to. It's, sort of let me pick whatever feels good today. That's the way I want to go. And
I
Val, it's
agree with that.
incredible because, we don't rehearse any of this, but the next section here, and it's talking about world events, but it's the same thing as what you're just talking about, whether it is an individual. I'm saying here that, countries who resist evil of others are only resisting the consequences of their own seeds of consciousness and actions in the years gone by. And then when they experience a pinprick, they're stockpiling in consciousness the future devastation that they're presently dumping on others. Uh, Same thing that we just said. If you're pranking somebody like there and then it turns into the retribution or the payback or whatever, it's a never ending cycle. It gets out of and you're never getting away from it. And okay, as a further, this isn't gloom and doom, but he's saying that these letters were written prior to the most crucial time in our history. So yeah, it's 20-ish years ago. So
Yeah.
when the travail was upon us, truly upon us, actually, he's saying, you'll wonder why he didn't warn us. But he's telling us through the receptive minds, he's been trying to alert the world for the past 25 years, and neither media or publishing house or TV was prepared to listen and give him the opportunity to speak through his agents, as he called them.
Hmm.
Politicians could reach us, but I, the Christ, he's saying, could not do so because of the hardness of our hearts. Our refusal to concede that the living Christ could possibly return at this time through a deprogrammed and dedicated mind to warn nations of what they were creating from themselves in the future. This is a pretty foreboding, warning for us all. And then the churches who claim to believe in his existence, they've been so self-absorbed in their own humanity and the conceived religious traditions as materialists. And now at the 11th hour, when the fear is going to be descending on the masses, they may be prepared to heed his words, but the doors must be open, or his efforts for humanity will have been in vain. Um, you know, it's kind of paradoxical that, I think pretty much any religion, when you walk through the doors, they want to say, love and belief in a higher being and everything else. But what have all the wars in the world been about?
Remember the days though when you can go to church and you'll learn about where to resource food or where to resource childcare or the local deli is closing down. Like it was non-biased information, stuff that you needed, and it wasn't geared towards one particular. And then all of a sudden it just became about money, or I want you to think this way versus thinking for yourself. And yeah, that's where we are today.
Something's really hard to get your mind across. Okay, we sit here in the United States and we say we live in a land of free and we got to fight for our democracy and things like that. Um, One thing Christ does not answer
Mhm.
about the passive non-resistance that he basically had was, if you don't have any kind of defense, what's going to become of somebody that's walking in here and taking over and imposing a will. So I struggle with that personally. How do you be peaceful and nonviolent and practice love when there are forces out there that want to disrupt that and impose their ways on you? And that's not only across the world, but it's even here in our own country. Being mad at somebody or wanting revenge or not liking them doesn't hurt that other person one bit.
They keep
They
living,
don't care.
keep living, keep stealing, keep arguing. They keep doing whatever they were doing, guys. And you're,
Yeah.
you're stressing about it.
Yeah, you're eating yourself up. That's the one you're hurting.
Exactly. So let go and forgive, and continue to live your life as best as you possibly can.
Uh, could I, carry like personal protection or a pistol or something like that? Yeah, I could, I guess, if I felt threatened. But I also feel much more comforted. And it's kind of worked for me actually in the past.
Mhm.
When Christ was talking about in the last chapter when he was in the temple, or I think that when he rewind the clock more, when he was presented to the temple, or when he started his public ministry and he was there and he started reading and he said, I am the chosen one. And they kind of got all razzed up and they were going to carry him out and throw him off the cliff out there. And, he just kind of stood there and they started fighting among themselves and he just sort of quietly slipped away. Uh, I've had times when I felt threatened before,
Mhm.
they've kind of worked themselves out in a similar manner, where, it's like, oh, what's going to happen here? But the situation just took care of itself.
Perfect.
And, for that reason, I've never been compelled to feel like I need to maybe carry a weapon or something like that. I always feel like, this is going to work out. Now, Christ ultimately paid the price and they put him to death. Uh, and you know what, that might happen too. But hey, if we believe what's in these letters and if we really believe in the way things are, okay, we learned our lesson here now. Yeah, if that happens, it happens. This is a playground, or the earth is a playground for all the manifesting souls to be here, and you're going to come back, and you're going to try again and try again. And emotionally, as humans, we feel bad about it, and we want retribution. But at the end of the day, it's just part of the cycle.
It's funny you say that because this story, guys, is a real life story. Just happened 2 days ago, and I can laugh about it now because my aunt has lived. My aunt's in a wheelchair. She goes. Her daughter takes her to the Social Security office, guys, and they're waiting in line. You go in the Social Security office in America. Everyone, most of you guys know. You take a number and you sit down and they call your number based on what you need. If you need a Social Security card, if you're checking on your benefits for disability or whatever. So she's sitting, but mind you guys, she cannot walk, and her daughter kind of sat 2 seats down. A guy came in with his grandmother and was signing her in, and he was kind of talking kind of nasty to her and cursing, give me, just real nasty foul words. And the security guard, there's always a security guard in the Social Security office, guys. He said to the guy, hey, don't talk to her that way. And the guy kind of raised up at the security guard, F you, mind your own business. Long story short, guys, the guy and the security guy got the tussle. The guy tried to grab the gun because the security guard at the Social Security office carries a real gun. I didn't know this either. Um, and then my cousin finally got up because these are mostly older people there, and they were kind of scared. This just happened all of a sudden, and kicked the gun out the way. The guy jumped up, ran out to his car. So then the security guard jumped up. Someone there had called 911 and locked the doors. The guy had ran to his car to get a gun run. Came back to the doors with the gun hidden on the glass. Somehow, let me in. I'm gonna shoot this, effing place up. And the grandmother, the mother who was with the young man, was just crying. And I really think, guys, that she was afraid. So the police came and arrested the guy. I'm not sure what the charges. I didn't ever got that because my aunt was just in shock because she could not move. She was sitting there, had peed on herself, and she was crying because she couldn't move. And I guess in that moment, you're just terrified, but she
Yeah.
couldn't save herself. And, we talked about it. And it finally hit me, everyone. Maybe maybe we were saving the grandma from that guy. There's no telling what abuse she had been receiving at home. My heart, I was almost in tears when they called me, crying and screaming. I didn't know what had happened. But guys, like, even though that was bad, what happened and no one got shot, maybe we saved her life by the tussle, him getting up and locking the door, and the police came. And since it was at a federal facility or something like that, the guy can be charged with some real charges and at least give the grandmother a break. And I don't know the story. I'm assuming the worst, but at least she's okay. So if you're ever wondering, guys, I know bad things happen all the time. And I'm not saying reading these letters is going to save your life, but it will give you a different outlook. It will give you a different way to look at things. You know what I'm saying? And I told my aunt, I was like, at least you survived, you know? If he would have came back and just started shooting the office, a bullet could have hit anyone. But whoever was in the office and they was afraid, they just dialed 911. So the police were already coming. And I don't know what prompted, just because the security guy said, hey, don't talk to her that way. Don't treat her like that. He's kind of manhandling her and pushing her around and saying, yeah, you have to, when you come in, you got to type your social security number in or whatever need be. I guess she wasn't moving as quickly. And maybe she was afraid. I don't support or believe in elder abuse. I don't like none of that, guys.
Right.
And I know people say, well, some older people can dish it and take it. I don't care about any of that, guys. I just don't want anyone to be abused. But um, whatever you're going through in your life, if you need any type of resources, Ron and I have started with the letters. And if you're here, you're seeking for some type of, you know, information too. So check out letter four. That's where we are. I hope I haven't taken up too much time, Ron, but I thought that I would share that random story that just happened this week. And it was in Springfield, Illinois. If anyone from Springfield, Illinois is watching, or maybe it was on the news, this actually really happened. But guys, if anyone's going through anything, it don't even have to be that serious. It could be, you know, being bullied at work, or not getting along with a family member or spouse. You know, you can get help. You know, start thinking differently. By me reading these letters, it opened up my mind to different ways and different things that I can see. So, you know, anything. It can be something small. You know, if you're dealing with, you know, a health issue. My cousin now, she turned 42, everyone. I'm not sure what your age is, but she can't seem to digest, and she's so frustrated. And I was like, you know, honestly, I'm not laughing at you, but it's normal as you get older, certain things don't digest. You're not
Yeah.
dying. You have to change your diet, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I said everything can work out. It's working out for the best of us. God God is not putting bad stuff in our way to make us suffer. It's never been like that. I don't want anyone to think that way. Like Ron said, there's no revenge. There's no you got to get in trouble, or I got to punish you. He never spoke about that.
Yeah.
Never. We can sometimes think differently and change our whole outcome. You know, think positive, I say.
It's a powerful thing. And I mean, that much, as I've said before, I've got a long way to go with truly being in tune with everything that's put forth in the letters. But one change I have made is, thinking positively and forgiving everybody in my life for whatever transgression there might have been. I really feel like my mind is clear with that. And, you know, uh, it's kind of scary because I have been trying to manifest some things and several of them have come true. So I'm very careful about what I want to manifest because
So, hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode. We are now on letter four, so we will continue and pick up on letter four. If you haven't read it, guys, Google it. It's online. Hopefully, by now, I've dropped the link and you can go and download it or listen to it or read it for yourself. But get caught up on all our videos. And again, thank you guys for watching. And I'll let Ron close us out, and I will see you in our next video.
great to see everyone. I'm glad Val and I were also did a live recording at the Body, Mind, and Spirit Expo in Tinley Park a few weeks ago, and those in attendance were very, very positive about the presentation and the whole uh, ideology of what we're trying to spread. Bye bye.